It's Thursday, February 16th. I'm Max Brantley of the Arkansas Times, going to talk about the news in Arkansas and elsewhere today. Where else to start with Donald Trump? He had a remarkable news conference at midday today in Washington. I guess the news was that he said his firing of Mike Flynn as his security advisor was not because Mike Flynn had done anything wrong, but because the media had just unfairly treated Mike Flynn throughout this thing, and he really wants to get after the leakers that have put out bad information about Flynn. A little bit of a head scratcher on the facts alone. But I think the style was much more important. The news conference included an extensive period of rambling by Donald Trump, and the reviews have not been good. One news outlet in Washington called it historically unhinged. Several people were put in mind to ask whether Trump was clicking marbles as he spoke, a la Captain Queeg and the Caine Mutiny and Humphrey Bogart's unforgettable role. A Republican senator, Republican mind you, said that Donald Trump should do these kind of talks with his therapist and not on live television. Well, this would be funny if it wasn't so serious, but of course it is serious business. Trump talked about his electoral win again. He talked about polls running in his favor. That's not exactly true, but it is true that Pew, which is a respected pollster, says that while Trump's approval rate is very low, a historically low 39% for this early stage of the pregnancy, that that a majority of white voters, those without college degrees, about 56%, do still support Donald Trump in a favorable way. That is his base, and so perhaps the media that's laughing at his performance will be wrong once again. They'll be the losers and Donald Trump the winner. Back in Arkansas, the Senate this morning approved the Tort Reform Amendment. That is the amendment to limit damages and damage lawsuits and limit attorneys' fees and to strip the Arkansas courts of their rulemaking power. It was approved 21-10. There were some strong speeches by the likes of Senator Will Bond and Senator Linda Chesterfield against the amendment. Chesterfield said she knew this train was rolling, but she said, why is it whenever the Arkansas legislature does something that hurts the little guy or the working man, they call it reform? Good question, but it didn't carry the day. News also from the Senate today, the Senate voted an amendment to the campus carry bill, which was approved in Senate committee yesterday, and it would add a 16-hour training period for those who wanted to carry a gun on campus as a university staff member. Would also require them to report their intention to carry guns to the law enforcement agency on campus, though that information would not be available to the public. Will this amendment pass the Senate, and will Charlie Collins, the House sponsor of this measure to force guns onto campus, allow it to be put on and pass through the House, or will he hold firm and demand, as he did yesterday in the committee, only that the bill pass in the form he wants it to pass? We'll see. Jeremy Hutchinson, who sponsored this additional training amendment, said he's not really sure how the Senate will go, but he's hopeful. Hutchinson says he favors more guns on campus, but he believes in training. He famously was in a gun training session in which you simulate an active shooter thing, and he shot the teacher rather than the bad guy in an exercise that set up a gun training situation in a classroom. He says it was terrifying, and he thinks training's important. The governor today signed a bill that gives state employees a paid maternity leave. This is a fight that was begun by Clark Tucker last legislative session. Some Republicans joined in this time, and that was enough to get it passed this go-around. This is something the other good employers, have done for years. News on the bathroom front. Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboy owner who's from Arkansas, has joined a number of people in the tourism and entertainment business in expressing concerns about a Texas bathroom bill. Arkansas, of course, has one pending as well. They say it's bad for business. They fear retaliation. The Texas bill would exempt certain stadiums, perhaps even Jerry Jones's stadium, but tourism officials think that's not enough to prevent retaliation. If I didn't mention yesterday, I should mention again the good work of Gretchen Hall at the Little Rock Convention Visitors Bureau. They came out early against the Arkansas bill to discriminate against transgender people in public restroom use, precisely because of the bad impact it's had on business elsewhere. The Arkansas Supreme Court today ruled that Conway police and firefighters can pursue a class action lawsuit against the city for not hewing to a promise to devote all of a 2001 sales tax increase to pay for city employees. And one last note, I think, on the bathroom bill front. Came across something on the web today, photographs of 10 very handsome, very muscular, very manly men who were born as women and who, under this Arkansas law that's been proposed, would have to use the women's restroom. I'd like to see this lineup of 10 that's shown on the web line up at War Memorial Stadium to use the women's room. It'd be a little unsettling, to put it mildly. One of them's Lauren Cameron, pictured here. He spent his childhood in Arkansas, and he'd be forced to use a women's restroom if he came home to Arkansas should that bill pass. I'm not sure that's what people want. Do you think? I'm Max Brantley. Until tomorrow, resist and persist. Thanks.